let's talk a little bit about Level Up. Let's swing back to Captain Eddie, and we'll just do our little update on Level Up.
Do I have a perplexed alone gallery? Come on, folks. But
I
no, we
know, right?
yeah, all this fantastic art we're turning out, and some of these pieces are just awesome. I'll let y'all know. Um, the Level Up team meets each week to fine tune the program, and I mean fine tune. We've talked about bringing in vendors. In a little bit, we'll be able to tell you who those vendors are and how we selected them and how they've accepted and what we're going to go on. And we're being very careful about this. And the point of this, the entire theme of Level Up, and follow along with me here, is we're not going for the sparkly galligoop and bells and whistles and stuff. We're going for wood turning. And I'm proud to say that we're sticking with wood turning. And we're not being bought or romanced or waltzed out of the way. And we're finding the right people at the right time with the right items and the right moxie that come do demonstrations for us. And sometimes you'll see us use terms like coaches and teams and pods, etc. And you say, what's all that mean? Well, what it means is we're going to put lathes, not just one little lathe and have 50 people stare at it. We're going to put lathes in there, and then we're going to have an available for other members to turn on those machines with multiple coaches or instructors in that team to help you. So you're not just going to sit in the audience and watch something going on. You're going to be part of what is happening. You'll be able to make something. You can make something in this pod and take it to that pod and finish it off, or take it here and go to a table demonstration and learn how to embellish it or fix it. And I tell you, we sit last night. We had a meeting. We were talking about we have a spot or two that we'd like to get another little thing in. And before we finished, we had too many again, and we were shuffling things around. See how it goes. And it's all done by your membership. And I like the way it is because this thing is growing by what your needs are. And every time we find a need, we find a solution. And I don't know if there's something that'll hold us back. Or we're lining up our demonstrators, which we call our coaches. We've got everything lined up on location. That's locked in. We have reservations available at the hotel. You have to ask, do you go through reservation service and all that? Sometimes it doesn't work. Go to the front desk and tell them what you want. Um, and all that's all being arranged. Just camping available, dry camping, all that stuff. So we are mapping this thing out for regular, everyday people like me and you, and it's really coming along good. What I am really like about this program, and I was telling the team last night, is we are basic wood turners. We're not into wood turning art. Our stuff is not going to go into a museum someplace. We're going to go to somebody's home where they look at it and cherish it and love it and want it. And if you sell your work, they'll buy it from you. If you give it, they'll cherish it as a gift. We are regular wood turners, and we want to endorse wood turning and promote wood turning. Um, and it's working for us, and we've got some great programs lined up. We're going to talk to one of our coaches. Yes, we're going to go to the coach and see if we can talk a little bit about what they may be doing tonight. Do we have the coaching line up there, Dane?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we do have one of our coaches on the hook here tonight to
Who's
talk
on the hook?
about. He's going to talk about what he's going to be doing. Let's see, Mr. Hales.
Uh-oh.
We got you now, Gary. Come
Hey,
in.
look there. I thought it was him. I wasn't too sure because I didn't want to introduce him. Uh,
Oh,
because
I
this
hope
could be
he's got an
yeah.
trouble.
example.
Everybody heard Captain Eddie's uh-oh. What we're going to be doing is turning barrels.
That was one my daughter
This
said.
one's turned to about an eighth of an inch on the inside. It had one little flaw in the wood, so I couldn't make a drinking glass out of this one. I have some others that I could. But we can coat the inside with black epoxy. There's about 35 steps to getting the bands to look like aged, rusted whiskey barrel bands. And that's going to be it's going to be our big challenge for the, but, and like on these, you undercut the lid and put everything in to where it really and truly looks like a barrel. Whoop, I got to get it up there with the bung and all. And as I said last week, these make really cute bottle stoppers. And with the bourbon becoming a big thing, it's a fad right now that it's a big thing. As part of the country, it's going to rums now, but rum comes out of a barrel too. So, but y'all can see the aged bands on it.
That's really cool, Gary.
And we have to
All
do a
right.
little spray and all, and then you cut away from the bands. And this is what we're going to be doing because it's a little bigger. I'll have the blanks for everybody, and we'll be turning them with a chuck. We'll start it out on centers, and then once we're round, we'll cut a pennant and put it on a chuck and go from there. And then if you want to hollow it out, you can. If you're afraid to hollow it out, you can just do a straight side on the inside. But we can drill them out. I usually drill them out to an extent and then finish it off with a hollowing tool. And I use my Trent Bosch. Actually, I think mine's one of those guys from Europe that I wound up with. But this is what we're going to be doing, and we'll go through all the steps. I'll have the instructions, and we'll coach you through making and aging those bands on those barrels and getting them put together.
Outstanding. What a
Fantastic.
great project that's going to be.
It's a fun project, and we can definitely do it in the hour and a half time frame. Even the painting of it and all. So it's a good project that we can do in an hour and a half.
Now,
Outstanding.
the barrel bottle stopper where I am in wine country would probably sell.
Oh yeah. um, even in the South, for whiskey barrel stoppers. And I'm working on a little detail now to laser the tops, like so many of the whiskey barrels are now. They laser in the top. I'm gonna work on that a little bit, but y'all could see how I cut in the lid on the barrel.
Yep.
It's
all the Finger Lakes in upstate New York have wineries all over them.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And now we've got breweries and distilleries popping up too.
Shoot, we got wineries out here in the desert. What are you talking about? They're everywhere.
There's
we even
wineries
got
on
we
top
even
of
got
Sand
them here.
Mountain where I live too.
We even got them here in the cold and frozen north. So they've got them up in cherry country and so on. So
Yeah.
So this is a great.
I don't
this is a
know why
great
my
project.
camera. There it is. My cam. I guess if I put it in front of my eyes, it will
Yeah, that's a good shot.
focus.
Yeah, it's
But
slick.
That is cool.
they're really cute. It's a fun project, something you can run out and knock out pretty quick. And it's just one of those quick projects. And of course, most all bottle stoppers are, but these will sell 10 to 1 if you go to a craft show over a standard bottle stopper.
Well,
Yeah,
what's really
And I
cool
might be
about
able
it
to
is the
take those
various
and put the,
techniques that are being used to make the metal rings. What are the metal rings? But they're not metal rings. It's all with the patination that you're going to be doing on that. It's really neat to see how that's done, and
Yeah,
especially
the process for
finger.
making the rings look like metal rings is pretty good. Yeah, it
Yeah, it is.
has several steps to do it.
Yep, for sure. All right.
But
Well, thank you very
it's
much, Gary.
fun. Hopefully we'll have people sign up for it.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Sure we will. We'll have people
We'll
fighting for a slot.
we'll show it again before September
Yes,
26th. All right,
outstanding.
that's got
All right.
me.
Thank you, Gary. So, so I just wanted to address a couple questions in here, at the topical level. So the materials we plan on, as of now, we plan on providing all the materials that's going to be required. So your wood blanks for the turning projects, you're not going to have to worry about bringing them with you, especially those that are flying. It'd be kind of hard to do. And the majority of our coaches are even prepping and bringing specific project materials required for their classes, which is outstanding. We've got a few of the guys that are coming in from Europe that we will be taking care of with wood between several of us. And then when it comes to tools, once we get the curriculum posted for what the projects are, we will have a minimum tooling requirement that you will need to bring, because we don't have the tools to provide for the folks that are coming there. It's just there's just no way we can do that. And basic tooling, spindle gouge, bowl gouge, parting tool, and a skew, it all travels just fine. If you're flying, tape up your ends, put it in your checked luggage, and you're good to go. And obviously, if you're driving, there's not an issue at all on that. Let's see. Seems like there was another question that was asked.
it's a question about sharpening, Dane. Sharpening glass, sharpening station.
Yes, we will have multiple grinding setups. Currently, we've got 5 Wolverine rig setups. So sharpening will be available. Um, there will be no limits on that. We also plan on having a couple sharpening demonstrations, hands-on. I don't know if you want to call it a demonstration or not, but definitely going to be able to have folks that know how to sharpen show how they sharpen. And then it's up to you. If you want to take the advice and regrind your tool based upon how somebody else does, or if you're satisfied with the angles that you already use, the equipment will be there and available for you to use. So there's definitely not going to be an issue there. And 99% chance positive that I'll be walking around and I'll probably see somebody and they're turning, and they're, instead of putting shavings out off of their tool, and they're putting dust, and I'm going to say you probably ought to go to the grinder and sharpen that tool up. So there's not going to be an issue with that.
Yeah, I don't know if
let's
this is relevant, but whenever I attend an event, if I'm teaching or I go to, spend any kind of event, I always, take some time and make sure all my tools are nice and sharp before I back them up. So that's advisable to do that. So,
And if you don't, there will be time, to be able to get the tools sharpened before the pod sessions. And then speaking of pod sessions, so a lot of us are former military, so we use a lot of military acronyms and terminology, just because that's the life that we came from for so many years, and it's just very applicable for a lot of stuff. And so when you hear us talking about a pod, think of whales. It's a group of whales. You got a leader of the whales, and then you got some insubordinates behind it. So when we're referencing at the pod level, this is where you're going to have a coach, and then you're going to have that got the coach on one lathe that's showing the project that he's doing, certain steps. And then the other people that are on the other four lathes within that pod. One pod is currently five lathes, and then the other four people go to working, making that particular dimension or cut on the project that they're working on. So that's what the pod means in the most simplest terms. And there's no more questions on that. Let's see. Let's talk about our hotel.
Why don't you differentiate that between that and what your guys are calling anchor sessions?
Yeah. So the difference between a pod and the anchor. So the pods is where the individuals are getting full on instructional information,
Hands-on.
and are able to start with a blank piece of wood, and by the time they're done, they will have a completed project. The anchor sessions that we have going on is where somebody is going to be, per se, up front and center. Folks are going to be gathered around watching while, and I'll use Paul Hannaby as an example, and he's going to be showing how to thread chase on a piece. And he's going to be demonstrating and explaining and talking about the techniques that is required to be able to chase threads properly. And then me as the lay person, I'm going to be standing there and looking at them like, oh wow, I don't understand how and that just doesn't even seem right. And then he's going to say, well, you know what, Dane, come on around here and grab a hold of these tools, and I'm going to give you some spot on tutelage here, and you'll be able to take a few strokes with the tool to see that you can actually do it, even though you felt like at the beginning that you weren't able to do it. And then you go back around and he takes back over and continues on with the anchor project that he is showing. And so that's the difference between an anchor and a pod. So he's doing at the anchor level, they're doing techniques, not so much as a full-on project. Could be a full-on project, don't know yet. But it's about showing and passing that knowledge on to those that are involved and watching what's going on, and at the same time still having the opportunity to be able to get up and touch the tool and put the tool to wood, and finding out that you can actually do it, and it's not as hard as it normally looks on YouTube. So does that clear it up, Matt?
I think
of course,
so.
We'll be talking about and we'll be talking about it more and more as it goes on, as the full-on projects at the anchor level filters in. So with that, let's go. I'm going to have Scott come on and talk about the 50 rooms that we have blocked out at the Hotel Mead and some of the do's and don'ts. Hey, Scott.
Hey everyone. So we have rooms blocked out at the Hotel Mead. Obviously, if you Google Wisconsin Rapids, there's other hotels, but we have 49 rooms blocked out currently. There were 50, but somebody registered. And there may be less now. I just was notified that somebody did register. The room rates are $130 a night. If you need a handicap room, please tell them that you need a handicap room. Call the hotel directly, and talk to somebody at the front desk, because they're the ones that are aware of the blocked out rooms. If you need a handicap accessible room, you have to tell them at that point in time, when you register, so that they're aware of that, because they'll switch some rooms around to get you in and a handicap room. The rooms will have 2 queen beds. There is going to be some camping stuff coming out here in the near future. Once I get the stuff from the county and on the 2 local campgrounds, they're remodeling one this spring, so I might not have a lot of information on that one till fall. But those will be available too, and the one they're remodeling actually has a few more amenities than the other campground. So it's a little longer drive, but it's still worthwhile. It's not that far. It's maybe 10 minutes further because you got to drive through the town and then out of town a little ways. So, but that's a beautiful campground. It's on a river, so it's pretty neat. And I'll have restaurants and stuff coming out here shortly too, list of restaurants and stuff. So keep your eyes open to the website, to the Facebook page, and the newsletter. All that stuff will be coming out soon. Well, all I have, Matt, Dane.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then, so I was just throwing here in the chat, that, there's, like any other community, there's Airbnb and Verbos available, so, if there's a group of you, you could probably rent a house or a condo there in the area. That's not far away, and split it between yourselves and come in even cheaper than, the $130 or the $70, for the area hotels there per evening. So, Google's your friend.
Thanks, Tim, for putting in the chat. There will be dry camping at the facility itself. So I forgot about that.
Hey, have you seen or looked into any more about Uber?
There is Uber in our area. There's also a local taxi service that has vans rather than cars, so it might be a little easier for you to get in and out. And I believe they have one handicap cab in that same company. So I'll have the names of those companies up soon too. And if you're flying in from central Wisconsin, I know they have shuttles. I'm sure there's a fee to shuttle you to Wisconsin Rapids, but you get a shuttle from the central Wisconsin airport, which is in Mosinee, to Rapids. Then you won't need to rent a car necessarily because you have local taxis to get you to the facility. Or if there's enough of you staying, you can hitch a ride with somebody else,
Right. Split the cost.
Scott, can you spell Mosinee?
Not off the top of my head.
You didn't study?
It's an Indian word, so it's not spelled like it sounds. Just
that's what I've done, and I just want to make sure that you were going to okay it.
Just type Al
and E.
Al, just type in Central Wisconsin Airport, and that's the airport you'll get. It's the only one.
Okay. That makes it simple.
It makes it easy.
There you go. Yeah, and then the other thing that we got going on, of course we talked about it last week. We'll go ahead and talk about it again here. So, if you're a turning couple, the tuition admission is $300. If it's just an individual rate, it's $160. If you're just wanting to do, if you have a plus one, a spouse or a significant other that wants to do off-lay projects, embellishing, painting, dyeing, staining, whittling, gardening, small tool making, that's going to be $80. If you're just coming in for one day and you just want to do a single day there, it's it's $80 for a single day. And then for evening chow for the plus one, it's just sitting around waiting for you to get done turning so they can go sightseeing or go back to the hotel. Evening chow fee is $15. cheap, cheap, cheap all the way around.
Yep.
Because we're doing it for worldwide wood turners or worldwide wood turners.
Yes. All right. That really buttons up the whole program, folks. As you can see, we've done a lot of work on this, but we're always open to your questions and inquiries or ideas. And that's what makes it great is we're open, wide open. If you've got anything like that, you just get a hold of us. It's level up at worldwidewoodturners.org. That's our mailing address. And send your queries on into us. We will get back to you. And we really want to know how you feel and what questions you have. And the questions you have will lead to more answers and help us grow this operation to be a major event. And that's what we want to have, a major fun event. And if it's hard to believe, but it's not about the buck. It's about having a good time and learning a whole lot about wood turning. And what I was sitting here a little while, I was sitting here looking at what we're going to do is the little whiskey top and bottle things. All right, play it in your mind is what can you do with that? All right, bottle stoppers, jars, tops, earrings, pendants, necklaces. Okay, now you're working with me. You see, this is going to feed your mind, and this project and hundreds of other things we do are going to feed your mind onto ideas you have and ways you can turn that's going to enhance what you currently do. And all that's going to happen at Level Up, all of it. And it's going to come out magically. It is, because if you're in a relaxed situation where a lot of friends are there and you can have a good time and enjoy what you love to do most, it's gonna pop. It really is. It's gonna pop, and you like it. So it's called Level Up, and as progress goes on, we'll just update it as much as we can and keep you going. But only if you ask questions can we answer them. And there'll be a campfire every night. Yes, we'll be burning up those pieces that you are embarrassed about. There'll be no evidence, none. No,
there's no scrap wood. We can always paint them and carve them, Eddie.
Yeah, well, no evidence, no evidence.
No,
and by all means,
I got some very interesting ideas out of burn piles in similar events. So,
okay, that's going to be a Watergate moment.
Yeah, that's right.
And by all means, if you have questions, or if there's something that you're curious about that we haven't covered, I can almost guarantee you we've not thought of everything yet. So please, bring it on. We need to be super diligent about making sure we cover all the bases.
We will. We'll cover them. Y'all tell us what's got to go where. We'll cover it.
Yeah, and this is the first.
You want to bring your lathe. You know, you got a small MIDI lathe or whatever. You want to bring it up there to Level Up and add it to the pod pile. Let Dane and Billy know so we can
add it to the curriculum.
Yeah. So we can freeze Tim up.
Right.
We'll be doing tips and tricks about getting ready to come to our Level Up, because a guy came by today to see me. And he stopped by and said, "Hey man, can I show you some tools?" And he went and got a bucket, and his tools in a bucket. But he had every one of them slipped into a pool noodle that he bought at the dollar store. So we went and got these $1 pool noodles, which is a foam thing about 2 inches round, the hole in the middle of it, and all his tools slipped right in there. The handle held them in. And you can't beat up the end on it. Don't cut the bucket. Don't cut the chair or the furniture or the fabric or anything else. And I said, "Isn't it the idea?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "You only put one tool through the seat in your car, and you learn how to fix it." So, but we'll give you some tips and hints on how to get things around and what tools to package. And remember, your favorite tools are your best tools, and we'll tell you what the ones you should bring. It's going to be a great plan. Great plan. Okay.